The bridging the gap exercise can be used in other areas such as husband and wives, parents and children, as an employee or an employer in other areas. But in this case, let's focus on husband and wives. As a man, I'd like you to consider, who do you truly respect and admire as a husband? Again, just like the other exercise, don't just think about the first person that comes to your mind. I'd like you to concentrate and focus on, who do you really sincerely admire and respect as a husband? And for the women, I'd like you to do the same thing and think of, who do you truly admire and respect as a wife? Now, once you've got that person in mind, what I'd like you to do is consider, what about them? What personality characteristic or trait do they have that makes you admire and respect them? Now, again, in 90% of the cases, what you've identified is an area that you probably want to work on. Because in 90% of the cases, most people will not admire or respect a characteristic or trait that's less than what they currently have. So let me give you an example of how you can do this. In the men's ministry, one of the most often suggested or brought up things in this situation is with the man not showing enough affection, enough love, enough compassion, enough saying that they love their wife, or maybe almost like they're taking them for granted. So let's use that as an example. So if that's the case, if that's what you've identified as a husband, and again, as a wife, just you can look at it the same way. But as a husband, if that's what you've identified, you could do something about that right now. You could stop on the way home and buy your wife some flowers. You don't have to buy a $150 bouquet of flowers. You could stop at a grocery store or Walgreens or CVS and pick something up for $3. Because it's not the flowers that are going to make a difference. It's your heart that's going to make a difference. And when you give those flowers to your wife, tell her you love her. Tell her you're sorry if you've been taking her for granted, if you haven't been showing her the kind of love and attention that she deserves. And tell her you're going to try to work on that and change that. That's the first step. If you're a wife, you can do the same type of exercise and find out what areas you might need to start changing and working on. Now, here's what's important about this. This is not a one-time action. It's a process. You're not going to change a marriage that's in trouble with one thing, one hand delivery of flowers or saying you love them once. It's a process that you want to go through because it boils down to your heart. You have to be doing the right thing. And by doing that, you will be amazed at just what kind of a difference that can make. Again, it might not happen the first time. It might be the second, third, fourth time, 10th time that you do something to show your wife that you care, that you're not going to take her for granted. Maybe it's vacuuming. Maybe it's doing the dishes. Just anything that you could think of. And again, during video 2, we talk a little bit about how to put that plan together. And I hope you take a couple minutes to look at that.